They are the future of our sport, some of the top youth bowlers Metro Detroit has to offer. Teammates representing their local bowling center out to prove who's best. Varying in ages and experience, but all here for the drive of competition and love of the game. The Bowling Showcase Youth Challenge Trophy is on the line as 4 teams emerge from the opening rounds to continue their quest. With the ultimate victory only a few steps away, 2 teams face off in semi-final action. 2 teams, 1 elimination match. The winner earns their place in the final. The battle continues right now from the bowling capital of the world. Welcome to the Bowling Showcase Youth Challenge. Welcome everyone to beautiful Marybowl in Livonia and the exciting semifinal rounds of our 2019 Bowling Showcase Youth Challenge. I'm Mark Martin and I'm happy that you're joining me as we continue this very special series of episodes. And as we've seen in previous weeks, the competition is fierce and these youth bowlers are here to make their marks. So let me remind you of what's in store. We started the challenge with 8 teams. Century Bowl, Season 1 champion Cherry Hill Lanes North, 5-Star Lanes, Season 2 champion Oak Lanes, Thunderbowl Lanes, Woodland Lanes, and the home team and Season 3 defending champion Marybowl, all competing in single game elimination matches. Now, 4 teams remain to continue their quest to be the best. At the end of our match, our winning team will move into the final championship round and earn the right to compete for the Bowling Showcase Youth Challenge title. Our final semifinal match features 5-Star squaring off against Century Bowl. 5-Star got here by beating Oak Lanes back in round 1. And Century punched their ticket by beating the defending champions Marybowl Phantom Strikers in the first round match. Both teams one step closer to that ultimate victory. Joining me today to help bring you all the action and expert analysis is Hall of Fame bowler Sandy Schultz. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the start of the Bowling Showcase Youth Challenge right here on Bowling Showcase. The Michigan State USBC provides tournament competition and recognition for men, women, and youth bowlers in Michigan. Pepsi qualifiers take place in your league with qualifiers advancing to the state finals. The Youth Masters, the premier scratch event of the state, will take place at Thunderbowl Lanes. Visit MichiganStateUSBC.com for entry blanks and more information on the Michigan State USBC.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Rich Glow, Managing Partner of Marybowl Lanes. On behalf of my entire staff, we are pleased to host this year's 2019 Youth Showcase Challenge. At this time, we'd like to turn it over to Mark Martin and the Metro Detroit USBC. Take it away, Mark.
Here we are, the second semifinal match of the Bowling Showcase Youth Challenge. Sandy Schultz, thanks for being with us.
Oh, thank you, Mark. My pleasure.
So last week, kind of a dud of a match. You know, it was over with pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know, especially once we got to the halfway point.
Yeah.
But this week we expect a lot more, don't we?
We do. As you know, as these teams are progressing, we get stronger. The stronger is pulling through, and the weaker is falling out. So hopefully the matches will be a little bit bigger, stronger.
So we got 5-star lanes and Century Bowl. Up first for 5-star lanes is Melanie Straub. Melanie's a 9th grader at Anchor Bay High School, 191 high average. A little bit light, leaves a 2.45. We've seen this left a lot.
We have. A lot of these players have been leaving this throughout the competition. It looks like she's going to throw her spare ball, which means she's going to go straighter at it and take out the hook.
She's going to move over to the left.
She's going to move. Yep. She's going to go straight at it.
Molly, your order's
There are a
ready.
couple of different ways to make the spare. She chooses this way. It's really a matter of what you're most comfortable with, I think.
Absolutely.
Oh, she stopped it.
And she chops it off. So Nathan Bellata up first for the Century Bowl team and Coach Ken Clayton. Nathan's a senior at Waterford Kettering, high average 204. Comes up high and leaves the 6'10".
He went to get his spare ball as well, but this is going to be a little bit different. He's going to go across from the left over to the right with no hook. He's going to still go straight at it.
Right, right.
Call this a cross lane shot.
And covers it easily.
6 spare.
Bill Spanos up on the left-hand lane. Bill is our multilinguist. English is his primary language. He also knows Greek and learning Spanish.
That looked like a pretty good shot.
A little
He came
bit high.
Yep.
Leaves the 6'10".
So he was the opposite of the leadoff bowler. He came a little high. The leadoff bowler was a little bit light. They got to kind of come in between.
Yep. He's got his spare ball also.
Yep. Good job.
Good cover by
spare.
Bill. Bill Spanos, 8th grader at Grissom Middle School. Cole Peters up on the right-hand lane, a 9th grader at Waterford Kettering. High average 193. Made the Metro Detroit USBC All-City team this year.
Oh, good for him.
You know a little bit about that, don't you,
Yeah,
Sandy?
a little bit. That was that was a really good shot. He almost left the 7-10. The 7 fell out. It left only the 10 pin.
Yep, leaves the 10 pin.
That could have gone from an automatic open with the 7-10. So now if he converts the spare, it's a double bonus.
That's right.
That's the way I look at it.
That's true.
Oh.
Uh-oh. So each team has an open frame. You know, we've talked over the years that you and I have done this together about clean games win matches. Cherry Hill Lanes North showed us that last week.
Yes.
And in this case, each team has an open frame, so it's kind of even. In fact, it is even. 5 Stars got a 1-pin lead.
You know, it's not that they don't practice it, and it's not that the coaches don't preach it, but you have to be comfortable, and you just keep shooting them over and over under, especially pressure situations.
Emily Moharder up on the left-hand lane for 5 Star. She's a junior at Adrian College.
That's a really
and
good
throws
shot.
a strike.
If you watch her game, she takes the ball down the lane with her upper body. And with today's, we call it a modern game, that's one of the features of that.
Taylor McBride up on the left-hand lane, senior at Lakeland High School.
Good shot.
And Taylor throws a strike.
Yes, very nice. Perfect.
Danny DeCroot, fourth bowler for the 5-Star Lanes team, up on the left-hand lane.
Whoa.
Stuffs
Wow.
it right in there.
All of a sudden, they've come alive.
That's right. Good shot for Danny. Josh Snyder up for the Century Bowl team on the right-hand lane. 10th grader at Waterford Kettering. Math is his favorite subject. 198 high average. Needs to throw a strike here to kind of stay even. Stay only 1 pin back. Comes high. Ooh,
He did.
broke it up.
He left only the 6 pin.
That could have been the 6-7 pretty easily.
They got. I guess you could say they got another break. They eliminated the 7-10 and now the
Yep.
6-7. Let's see if you can make the spare.
Relatively easy
Yeah,
spare. Not
is
quite
relatively-
like the 10 pin.
Right. Not as easy as the 5 either, though.
No, not as that's true. Very true.
Good
And
job.
covers it up.
He made it look as easy as a 5, though.
He did. That's for darn sure. Stephanie Schulk, 2-time defending champion of the Metro Detroit USBC Junior Masters Girls Division. Already a freshman at Lourdes University in Ohio, and obviously bowling on their team.
I'm not sure.
5-star working on a double with now have a 11 pin lead. Her favorite subject in school, statistics.
That's what you're doing, Mark.
That's right.
She wants your job.
Yeah, I'm the statistician.
Oh.
Leaves a 5-7.
So she can make the spare. She's got to slide the 5 pin, which is the pin in the center, over to the 7. The typical way to do this is you would move your feet probably 5 or 6 boards to the left and use your same strike target. It's not exactly easy, but it's not impossible either.
No, it's, I would say for the bowler of her
Caliber?
caliber, it's probably about a 25% conversion
Yeah, I
rate.
would think so too.
Oh,
Right idea.
yeah, she did. So that gives Century's got a 5-pin lead now. Patrick McCletchy up on the right-hand lane. A veteran of this competition, bowled with the Cherry Hill Lanes North team back in 2016 when they won the championship. Bowled with the Century Bowl team last year. 11th grader at Clarkston High School. High average of 200.
That was a really good shot.
And he
That
carries
was
it.
a really good shot right off his hand.
So here we are, halfway through the match. Teams are going to change lanes. Century Bowl has a 5-pin lead, 68 in the 4th, strike up in the 5th, while 5-star has 83 in the 5th with an open.
Yep.
So, Sandy,
It's still-
I mean, both teams are right there. So which team is going to come out of this, and what are they going to have to do?
They're going to have to try to maintain their game, maintain their composure and not get too excited, not rush the line, and just make good shots. You know, if they fall, great. If not, make their spares.
Okay, so we'll find out right after these messages when we come back on Bowling Showcase Youth Challenge. Okay, here we are. We're back for the second half of the second semifinal match of Bowling Showcase Youth Challenge. Century Bowl has a 5-pin lead moving into the 6th frame. Just like you said before the break, Sandy, I mean, it's a matter of staying within yourself, right?
It is. It really is. You know, it's easy to push yourself too hard to where you're not focusing. especially if the other team is putting some pressure on them. So they just need to stay within themselves and make their own shots count.
Okay, Nathan Bellata up on the left-hand lane. Nathan back in the first frame for Century Bowl, left the 6-10 and picked it up. Those are leaves a 9-pin or 10-pin.
10-pin. Yep.
Yeah,
Good shot though. He
Was
knocked
it?
9 down.
He
Is
knocked
that what
9
that's
down.
what you meant to say?
That's exactly what I meant. Sure, that's what it was. So one of the interesting facts about Nathan is he can solve a Rubik's Cube.
Huh. He must have the pattern memorized. Isn't there a pattern to that?
I guess there is. I couldn't really tell you.
Yeah, I haven't picked up one of those in years.
I could never
Good
figure it
job.
out.
Yeah.
Okay, now up for 5-star leading off, Melanie Straub. Melanie, a 9th grader at Anchor Bay High School. 2 MJMA U15 titles. And finished 38th in her division in last year's Junior Gold.
Ooh, a little bit high. Oh, that.
High leaves the 6-7.
She can slide the 6-pin over into the 7, but
She can.
yeah, it's quite hard. She just has to make sure she at least gets the 6.
So she gets her spare ball.
That'll make it easier.
Covered 1.
Yep, she got the 1. That's important because it's still kind of early in the game.
It is.
And sometimes come down to the final frame, you only need 1 or 2 extra pins, and that could have been it.
So now we have a sub for Cole Peters on the left-hand lane. Aiden Franz bowling. So a little bit light, leaves a 2-pin.
Very makeable spare.
Relatively easy
Yeah.
for
A right-hander, especially.
for a young man of his capabilities. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, he's not happy.
No, he's not.
Oh, we got a couple opens.
Yep, Century Bowl, though, still has a 4-pin lead.
Still a close match then.
It is. Bill Spanos up on the right-hand lane. Bill's favorite subject in school, science and math.
Good shot.
Good shot by Bill. Leaves a 10-pin.
Threw a good ball.
He was a state Pepsi champion
Oh,
in 2017
Oh,
and a
good for him.
National Youth Open champion
wow.
in 2019. And finished 39th in his division in the Junior Gold Championships this past year in Detroit.
And that has a lot to do with how he did it.
You bet. Absolutely. The Century Bowl with a 4-pin lead in the 8th frame. Taylor McBride coming up. Taylor's high game 300, 743 for a high series, high average of 215. Already committed to Ancilla College.
Good shot. Good shot. I thought her reaction was she didn't like it.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
But
Well, maybe she really liked it
yeah, it could. That's what I'm thinking.
because it was really nice.
It was a nice shot. Flush in the pocket, all 10 in the pit.
That's right. 5-star down by 4 pins. Century's got that strike, so it's important for Emily Moharder now to match that strike to only stay 4 pins down. Emily, interior design major at Adrian College, 1 MJMA title. Pulled that one a little bit.
Yes, she did.
That's an interesting split.
Yeah.
The 3, 9, 10.
Baby split with the sleeper.
Yeah,
The trick is to get that back pin. That's the hardest part.
It is. I agree.
Going between them is probably the best bet.
Yeah, you can get the 3 and the 10 pretty easy.
Yeah.
I would say pretty easy. But the trick, you're right, is getting that 9 pin in the back, that sleeper out of there.
Looks good. Yeah, just like that.
Oh.
Great shot.
Great shot.
Perfect.
You know what? The way her ball was fading,
Yeah.
I didn't think for sure she had a chance of getting the 9
Well, I think she used something that hooked. That's why.
pin. She must have.
And that's
right.
what I would have done with that spare, because
Yeah.
if you use a plastic ball, it doesn't hook. You can't. It's harder to get that 9 pin out.
Yep. Okay, up on the left-hand lane in the 9th frame, foundation 9th frame for Century Bowl with a 7-pin lead now, Joshua Snyder.
Close match. Oh, great shot.
That's a double for Century.
Oh.
That's a double for Century to increase their lead to 17 pins. Danny DeCroot coming up for the 5-star lanes team on the right-hand lane. Danny threw a strike
She needs one
back
right
in the
here
4th frame.
to help set it up for her anchor bowl and give them a chance.
And
Yep,
she does.
She did.
Just like matter of fact, like ho-hum.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and if you can bowl under that mentality, good for you.
Absolutely, I agree.
Sometimes you just have to condition to be able to do that. It's hard.
So now we're the 10th frame for Century Bowl with a max score of 206, a max score of 189 for 5-star. Century right here, Patrick McCletchy on the left-hand lane. Key shot for them.
Oh,
Leaves a 10 pin. He needs to spare here and a good count to force 5-star and Stephanie Schalk to double in the 10th to win. So Patrick McCletchy, the 11th grader at Clarkston High School, math being his favorite subject and 200 his highest average. Shooting for the 10 pin and got it.
That's a good anchor bowler.
That's right.
You know, a lot of people think that your best bowler needs to be anchored, that can throw all those strikes, but in reality, it's got to be someone that can make a spare.
Yep.
It really does.
And one that can come through in the clutch.
That's right. Oh, now he left the 4
Okay,
pin.
184 for Century. So here's what it comes down to. 5-star has 129 in the 8th, strike up in the 9th, the Danny DeCroot shot. Stephanie Schalk gets up in the 10th here. She needs 2 strikes and 5 pins to win this match. So in this case, what is it, Sandy? It's 1 ball at a time.
Yes, you're only thinking of your shot at hand. You start thinking about the end result. Mix it up.
Oh! And the messenger went around,
Yeah,
almost got it.
That was a pretty good shot. It was a little bit light, but it definitely could have carried.
Definitely could have been.
Yes.
So that gives the win to Century Bowl. They're going to advance to the championship of the Bowling Showcase Youth Challenge. She threw the ball well.
She really did.
She definitely threw the ball well.
You know, we condition ourselves to throw the best shots that we can throw, but you cannot make them fall. You can do everything possible.
That's right.
To be consistent. And
I
she
agree.
did just that. She threw a great shot.
So 1 fill ball here for Stephanie Schalk will give them 169.
That's a tough loss.
Yep, and Century Bowl already in the house at 184. Leaves the 4-pin. 168. So
That's a
16-pin win for
That's
Century
a tough
Bowl.
168, I got to tell you.
It is. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, 5-star had 3 open frames and 2 open frames for Century. But Century moves on to the championship match of the Bowling Showcase Youth Challenge. What do you think? What kind of finals do we have set up here?
You know, these, as I mentioned once before, is as we move along, the players are getting stronger and stronger, and they're getting more comfortable. So the next week's final match, we're going to have 2 strong teams, both ready to win.
Right.
So hopefully they bring their game.
Yep. So we'll be back after these messages, and we'll interview Coach Ken Clayton of the Century Bowl team, who has now punched their tickets to the finals of the Bowling Showcase Challenge. Okay, here we're back to it's interview the coach time. Ken Clayton at Century Bowl. Ken, your team, a little bit of a slow start, but both teams started slow. And but I think that 8th and 9th frame, those 2 strikes were key. Talk about that.
Well, that double was key, especially with that tough spare that they picked up, picking up that split. That brought up right in the game, and that double just put us over the edge.
It was. So what kind of strategy do you have for the finals against Cherry Hill Lanes North, which is just north of where you guys are at?
Just beat them. Just beat them.
So
Throw strikes, beat them.
Two Oakland County, Waterford, Clarkston teams. Any rivalry there?
Oh, a lot. A lot.
Okay. So now it's time to bring it on, right?
You bet it.
Okay, we'll see you see you next week.
Thanks, Mark.
All right. So Century Bowl
Fellas.
punches their ticket to the semifinals. They're going to bowl Cherry Hill Lanes North next week in the finals. What do you think, Sandy?
I think they're both hungry and they want to win. They gotta just bring their game.
And you got kind of a natural rivalry.
Yeah.
Those 2 bowling centers are only about 5 miles apart.
That's exciting. How awesome is
It
that?
is, that's right.
Bragging rights for the winner, right?
And
For
it's
the whole
Waterford
year.
versus Clarkston. It's
Yeah.
Century versus Cherry Hill North, whatever you got to do.
Yep.
Next week, finals, Bowling Showcase Youth Challenge. Be there.
See you then.